Let's do sports now on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak. We start with the Ghana Premier League, where Asante Kotoko secured a hard-fought 1-0 win over Nswatraman FC in an outstanding match at the Lenkley Sports Stadium, moving them to second place in the standings. The game, initially set for match day 2, had to be postponed due to Nswatraman's involvement in the CAF Confederation Cup. Now, Nswatraman defender Isaka Mohammed attempted to clear his lines, but inadvertently headed Dauda Isaka's cross into his own net, handing Kotoko their first home win of the season. In yesterday's other game, Gold Stars played out a 1-1 draw with Samatex, away from the Ghana Premier League to the Division 1 League, where this season's competition will see a return of a familiar club in recent years, Accra Great Olympics. But has this always been the case for the club? Well, my colleague Daniel Cranton explores the history in this feature.
Hello, pleasant welcome to the Accra Sports Stadium. It's Sunday night football, match day 32 of the Ghana Premier League. This is a battle for survival. It's a Capitals derby. Hartsabok against their city rivals, Great Olympics. But this game has got different dynamics to previous games that the two teams have played, because these two are in a battle to survive the Ghanaian top flight. A defeat for both Hartsabok and Olympics might potentially take them to Division 1 football.
Last season's Ghana Premier League campaign saw Accra Great Olympics relegated from the top flight for the third time in 7 seasons. This all-familiar story of relegation has become ever so synonymous with the Accra-based side, making mockery of the current state of the club. Life as a Great Olympics fan today is certainly far from pleasant. But let me tell you a story of a time Accra Great Olympics were so good they earned the nickname the Wonder Club. In 1922, Cape Coast and Accra became the first colonial cities in sub-Saharan Africa to host formal leagues in the Gold Coast. Accra Hartsabok emerged inaugural winners of the Accra Football League at the expense of city rivals Accra Standfast, and the two clubs continued to be the dominant sides in Accra for the next few decades. Then in 1954, Accra Standfast were handed a surprise defeat at the hands of Kumasi Cornerstones, which sparked a huge row between Standfast team manager S.O. Glover and some board members over match-fixing claims. S.O. Glover, as a result, left the club together with some management members and players to form a rival team in Sakumotoshi, a suburb of Accra, by name Accra Great Olympics. The early 60s saw the formation of another Accra-based side, Dr. Nkrumah's very own Real Republicans. With only 2 teams eligible to use the Accra Sports Stadium as their home grounds and an automatic slot given to the Republicans in that regard, Olympics had to face rivals Hartsabok in a justifier, and they lost. The Dade boys had to settle for the Tema Sports Stadium, but that seeming misfortune ended up being a huge positive.
Olympics had to contend with Tema Stadium, but they made good use of the stadium. In fact, they turned out to be called the Wizards of Tema. You know, at that time we didn't have the hotel. They had some strange winds blowing, you know, from the west. So, and it comes normally around 5, that's the second half. You know, that's where you balloon the ball and the wind carries it so far. And the Olympics mastered the situation so much that whenever they come out in the second half, they won't lose.
Fast forward to the 1969-70 season. Ghana had returned to a civilian government, with Dr. Buzua being sworn in as the first prime minister since Nkrumah was ousted. In the same vein, the lives of Great Olympics fans were about to take a positive twist.
For me especially, I grew up in Polygon, part of Accra Polygon. And what I remember very well was that Great Olympics used to come and wear their jerseys at one house, just about 1.5 kilometers off our route, in the house of one very powerful man called Mr. Johnson. I think he's deceased now. So anytime they came over to wear the jerseys, then imagine as kids you'll be there, then you see them in a bus or a truck or so driven just by us to the stadium with the Olympics flag flying. It was so momentous for us. We all ran up to the roadside. So actually, for a lot of us in that generation who grew up in that particular area, most of us are Olympics fans, and that was how it all started. And to make matters very lively, of course, those were days where the media wasn't so pronounced, so you would hardly be following proceedings on the telly or even radio. I think we were young, so those who were old enough were listening to radio, but you'd be there, and then all of a sudden around 5:30, 6 p.m., when the match would have ended at Accra Stadium, you see them coming back, especially with victory, and then we had this powerful pan-local group led by one very popular guy in Polygon, Adama Sinatra. I think he was a nephew or relative of Mr. Stanley Branson. So they'll be drumming the pan-local in another track, following these people with the Olympics flag flying. Also, as kids, we all ran to the Mr. Johnson's house to go and await them, get down from the bus, and it was so much fun. I think growing up, I never knew Olympics could even lose a match.
Led by star striker and captain Jones Atukwe-Fio, who was part of Ghana's 1965 AFCON squad, Olympics, after years of pushing ever closer, won the league title, becoming the only side in Ghanaian football history to win the league without losing a single game.
At that time, we had the likes of good performance, like Jonawu, Fretete, Audunesi. I'm talking about the goalkeepers. You talk about Edward Boy at the right fullback. You talk about Banama Hafo, left fullback, Asani, right half back, and the center half was Aruna Musa. And then when you come to the midfield, you could talk about Omamisa and Ajiakun. They were manning the midfield. You know, at that time it was 4-2-4 formation. So this were the people manning the midfield. Then you talk about attackers, you talk about Joe Coblan, you talk about Ayama, then you talk about Jones Atupefiu, who happened to be the skipper, and then Jonas Ajayi at the left flank.
In a bizarre but hilarious turn of events, that season did not feature a Garmanche derby between the eventual winners Olympics and Hearts of Oak.
You know, we were supposed to play Hearts of Oak, but they traveled to overseas. They couldn't make it. They said they were coming today, tomorrow, and the match was fixed, but they didn't come. So eventually the two points and the 3 goals were awarded to us. So in that particular season, we never played them. In fact, they decided to come and play. But when they saw our squad, they took to their heels. They thought they could meet us with their second string squad. But when they came and then they saw our big boys on the field of play, they took the best decision by not honoring that match.
Winning the league qualified Olympics to the African Club Championship, now known as the CAF Champions League. It was the first time the club was participating in the competition, but they were not about to market themselves as newcomers. After a 3-1 aggregate win over Kenyan giants AFC Leopards in the first round, Olympics found themselves staring at elimination after losing 2-1 in the first leg of the second round against Malagasy champions MMM Tamatave. However, a Jones Atukwefio hat-trick, in addition to 2 goals from Peter Lamte and 1 each from Joe Kobler and Robert Hammond, propelled Olympics to a resounding 7-0 second leg win at the Accra Sports Stadium, the biggest win by any Ghanaian side in the competition till date. A 2-0 aggregate win over Uganda's Coffee United set up an all-Ghanaian semi-final between Asante Kotoko and Great Olympics.
Olympics were so happy to play in the championships because they had taken the lead from us. They had entered Africa first. So meeting Kotoko, the defending champions, we thought it was a good match. And the sudden death of Robert Mensah gave a whole lot different dimension to the match. Supporters, even supporters were going around with the erroneous stories, that maybe Olympics might have masterminded his death. But it was a well-attended match, especially the first time 2 leading clubs from Ghana were meeting in the competition. Yeah. So come, I think November 7th, it was postponed to November 7th. They were fully packed Accra Stadium. Very balanced game. And Olympics took the lead. It was Zinata Jones. Jones was a very good player from academical side up to Republicans. No, he was playing for Republicans. That will come to that. So he scored the first goal. I think it was the 50th minute or so. And it took Kotoko a long time. Abukari, their top scorer, I think about the 85th minute, they got the equalizer. So the stage was set for a grand second leg in Kumasi. You can just imagine. The stadium was filled to capacity. It was quite a balanced game. And it was going to end in a draw. A minute to time, Sunday Ibrahim from nowhere got the match winner. So the stadium turned red. Kotoko supporters, everybody was happy about it. And Olympics had to be content to their semi-final berth. It was a good debut for him. Yeah.
Despite the semi-final disappointment, Olympics exited with their heads held high in a debut campaign which saw Captain Jones Atukwefio pick up the prize for the competition's top scorer. After competitive seasons in 1972 and 73, Olympics claimed their second league title in 5 years in the 1974 campaign.
In 74, you can say that, as far as I'm concerned, I'll say that 1974 league was the most keenly contested league in the annals of Ghana football. It was a neck-to-neck finish. The champions were decided at the last match when we had to play against Azakes in second D. And Accra Suffolk also played against Nkumasi and Cornerstones in Accra here. And then we just needed a draw as we were going to play on the proper light. So they thought they could manipulate the match if the results are not favored us. But lo and behold, we drew 2-2 with Azakes and were home and dry.
The significance of the 1974 league title cannot be understated, as it was the birth of the coaching career of Cecil Jones Atukwefio.
In fact, in 74, he was a registered player. But a calamity befell the club. Our punk roller, who happened to be Mr. Seth Roger Tete Okanse, died. At that time, we were having a German coach, Karl Lowenstein. But I think after the death of this man, the coach decided to leave. And then Jones Atukwefio was brought in as a caretaker coach to take over from the expatriate. And lo and behold, Jones too was also a very good coach. In fact, his playmates knew him as somebody who could rise to the occasion. So when the need arose, the management did not, bother to look for anybody from outside, but just took up the mantle, and then Olympics was good to go.
An FA Cup triumph followed a year later in 1975 with a victory over BA United, and the Wonder Club also claimed the Champion of Champions trophy in 1976. Olympics have since struggled to replicate the glory of the 70s.
It's a bit difficult to really put your finger, but one thing I would say could be the fact that there isn't that much unity in the club. That is a fact that as much as it may be unpalatable, it's a fact that you have to talk about. Then one other thing I believe is that most people who sacrificed for the club in one way or the other in the past, whether as managers or administrators or board members or even supporters who sacrificed a lot, often ended up leaving the club very peeved and sad and, as it were, moving out of the club with a lot of pain in their heart. So you see they move back and then they do not want to join the club or have anything to do with the club.
Not losing sight of what the club once was is the only way to get back on track. And with that, peace, friendship and unity, which are the three pillars on which the club was founded, are important. Eslo Glover's dream blossomed and shines even till this day. Regardless of the state of the club, Olympics is still alive. And maybe one day, hopefully sooner rather than later, they will be champions again. In the words of Ohinejan, they dared and became daring. They persevered and conquered, rushing in with glorious impunity where angels fear to tread. Olidade became the Wonder Club.
We are Great Olympics team. We are sure restoring Great Olympics. We celebrate. Oh, Great Olympics team. We Olympics. We shall be. Oh, on goes the opponent. Go and go on go. Olympics.